she literally says, make sure you don't shoot yourself. Like, here, if somebody, like...
Quite literally says it, and then...
In 10 seconds later, the kid just pop. And
her face is just, ooh.
And they show it, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he would have had to have just looked down the barrel and shot himself.
Absolutely.
You know what? Yeah. Kids.
I mean, look.
Kids do the darndest things.
Hey.
And then also, have you ever heard of a face shield? Because you're right here.
Oh, I know.
And you're going like this. What do you think's going to happen? Like, what do you think?
He grabs that motherfucker, too, and just...
Oh, the tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That was...
the tongue.
No, he's opening mouth and
What doesn't make sense? Her having a gun put on her leg and
her
it
being able
fires
to
by
shoot
itself?
it. Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
It's just the nerves.
Right.
It goes straight through the steel, and she can do it.
So she's doing like Kegels and it's shooting?
If that's what you think, yeah, sure.
Or flexing her quad or hamstring.
Yeah, or thinking it.
Bull.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
How is she shooting that gun?
With her mind.
Was it ever explained? Does anyone ever
It's
explain
a
it?
movie.
I'm aware. I watched it.
And I love how he puts
Peg.
the wood peg on, too. Where
No.
she's just like, I don't have
That
a
didn't
leg.
hurt at all? You're telling me that didn't hurt at all?
Well,
He
just
just
wait.
shoves that into her newly removed leg.
Her femur's on the other side, just like this. And there's a piece of wood, and it goes, Mow! And then she's like, ah.
Yeah, so that metal peg or whatever just went right into that wood.
I like when she's
just
like,
fine.
I like when she's like, I broke my leg.
Well, I like how she's like, I don't have a leg, and he just jams it in. You do now.
You do now. No, I still don't.
Welcome to the Decision Real Movie Review podcast, where we try not to laugh while we're talking about the intro. Tara, what movie are we doing this week?
GrindHouse.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
It's a twofer.
Twofer. It's a double
It's a twofer.
feature. We got Planet Terror and
Terror. Make sure that
Terror.
Terror.
it's not
Terror.
terror.
Terror. And Death Proof.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Off the bat.
We sure do.
Off the bat. I'm going to go rapid fire. Which movie do you like better? You don't got to say why. Just which movie out of the two do you like better? You can't say none. Terror. Which one would you think is better first?
That's a different question. Which one do I think is better? Which one do I like better? Those are. I have a different take on that.
That's
so
interesting. Well, now I want to know the answer to both.
I think that Planet Terror is the better movie.
Okay.
I liked Death Proof more.
Interesting.
Okay.
But I think Planet Terror is the better production.
okay,
Like,
okay.
Okay.
But I wouldn't watch it.
She's not
A
going to
lot.
watch these again. Ever again.
In following up hers, I would say I've watched both plenty of times, but I will go towards Death Proof before I pick Planet Terror. I'm a
Really?
Death Proof fan. I am. I think it kind of reminds me of like it's almost like a Mad Max type setting. There's not a whole bunch of lines. There's a lot of action without over the top action, like it's realistic action.
Okay.
You know?
I get what
Planet
you're
Terror, we were talking about earlier. They reach. We get it. It's a thriller horror, almost comedy, but not. And they reach a little bit. Death Proof is a little bit more for me. It hits home. I love the cars, and it's two stories. It's two movies in one. You get two whole movies in one, and then they intertwine, which is the best.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that because you have the first part of Death Proof where he's going after the first group of women.
Yeah.
And then the second part, which is 16 months later, I think it said.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get that. I never thought about it. It's literally the same kind of thing, but role reversed, obviously.
Right.
Right. But speaking of role reverse, I'm going to do from you. I like Planet Terror rather than Death Proof.
This is great.
Yeah. We'll get into that why later when we give our scores.
Your face is the best right now.
Yeah, I love
This
this.
is the best.
I love this.
Because I love both of these movies.
I bet that
And you're
do.
just like, they made me watch not one, but two boys picks. Two boys picks.
And listen, because I've said this before that I typically don't like being like, oh, there are boy movies and there are girl movies.
Right.
Like I truly don't believe that as a whole. These are guy movies.
Yeah.
See, these are
Quentin
guy movies.
Tarantino.
Because and here's the thing about that specifically is both of these movies would have you believe that that he put strong female characters in these movies. I don't think Tarantino knows how to female character.
Have you seen Kill Bill?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I 100% get what you're saying.
I think he totes the line of like he wants these strong female empowerment like roles, but then in reality, can also easily disregard them.
Right, but I
so
feel like
it feels really like
I feel like he executed that better in Death Proof than he did in Planet Terror.
He did, but he also went really far in Death Proof. Like he made them so, which is fine because I'm more that type of female personality. But he made them so aggressively strong female, but then still had the very like, oh, let's show a lot of legs, let's show a lot of feet, let's show a lot.
Well,
of
I feel like
he's definitely a foot.
See, I'm having like I agree, but the second part of Death Proof, he nails it in my opinion because of the work they do. Like they're in acting, they're in stunts, and then clearly they've done dumb shit together in the past, which is why doing the mask game is such a big deal because they were like, we're not doing this shit again,
right?
Because then I think in that foursome of characters with the girls, they really nail it all. You get like kind of like the dumb. Literally a cheerleader, you have the
like
actress.
She's dressed as
she's like, I'm in Vogue. Grab the issue, like that.
But that was another thing too, though. Like she goes in and she grabs the magazine, and because she's a woman, the cashier's like, oh well, we just got this Italian Vogue in there because she must need that,
but
which of course she did. And but you know what I mean? Like he wants them to have these strong empowerment moments, but he's still trying to throw that femininity, that sexualization,
there's always
in there.
Big sexualization.
But that is Quentin Tarantino's style.
Well, yes, I know.
Yeah. Right.
That's that's why I said Tarantino specifically. Like I don't mean women, although women in movies in general, we get in that. But I'm specifically talking about his female characters.
Correct.
For
now,
the most part.
I would say this series of movies, right? The GrindHouse, the two movies here, they were made based off of doing just that, though. Like, these movies were made because of the old Grindhouse-style movies that were sexualizing women and doing over-the-top, stupid, crazy shit. So they're leaning into that, I think, a little bit more than he normally does in his movies. Obviously, you can tell this man loves fucking feet in this goddamn movie. There's a couple parts in Planet Terror where there's some feet going on, too, and I was like, this is a different guy, but we got feet. I bet you Quentin was like, we need feet.
Yeah, we need feet.
We need more feet in this.
We're missing feet here.
I know what we're missing in this scene right here. What's that?
Toes.
Feet. I need toes.
I need the toesies.
Right. But that scene when she's got her fucking feet out the window and Kurt Russell's like trying to lick it, and then he plays it off by my keys.
Yeah.
I laughed, but also I was a little creeped out.
Yeah. He plays a great like
everything.
Yeah, serious creep. But like he's definitely a manipulator when you start seeing his face. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, the scene in which he convinces that girl to give him a lap dance.
Right.
It's like amazingly done with being a way to like convince someone to do it.
Right.
While also being creepy, but while also like if that person was in a real situation like that, you'd be like, all right, yeah, okay.
It's like aggressively confident.
Right.
Etc. But a really weird thing to proposition, in my opinion. But she said she was down to do it.
Well,
it was part of the thing, like, that the girl said, but she also very easily could have not done it.
Right.
Right. Well, they were a little tuned up, let's be real.
Oh, yeah, they had been drinking. Like, they were doing some real drinking, for sure.
Well, those two guys had that very open conversation at the bar that they were going to keep giving them shots to make them more apt to hang out with
Anybody know who the one guy was at the bar?
Which guy?
The one who did most of the talking?
Yes.
That's what you're going to say? I don't know his name, but I know his face.
Me too.
That is Eli Roth. He has directed all the Hostel movies, Cabin Fever. He just did the newest Thanksgiving movie that came out, which is kind of from this movie.
I mean, it is.
Oh, yeah, okay, it is.
It is.
I haven't seen that one.
It's not kind of. It's one of those trailers.
Yes. So if you went and saw this movie in theater, the movies in theaters, there were trailers. Now, watching Planet Terror, I believe on MyPlex, it showed a trailer for Machete.
I watched GrindHouse. GrindHouse.
Yes.
So it was all one thing.
Okay.
It had it was the double feature, like if you were to go to the movies.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I
it
didn't have
had
that.
all the trailers in there.
Okay. Where were they? At the beginning or in the
No, it had the one before
Planet
Planet Terror, and then it
then-
had the couple before
Okay.
the second one. Just
So-
like, I mean, it was.
So is the proper
actual-
way to watch them Planet Terror then Death Proof? I thought it would have been
That's
vice.
the
I
way-
thought it would have been vice versa.
That's the
Death
way the
Proof.
double feature is. That's
Yeah.
the way
Really?
that it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense because he's in the hospital in Death Proof
Mm-hmm.
when things are normal. So you
Yeah.
think that would be first.
Right.
Well, then also there's a little thing on the radio that they say when he's like flicking through the radio in Planet Terror where, hey, we want to give a shout out to our girl.
Yeah, Jungle Julia,
Yeah, Jungle Julia.
who's
So-
no longer and right. It says like no longer here, and he turns
Yeah.
it off. Yeah,
So, yeah, I always thought, and I went and saw this in theaters, so it is Planet Terror then.
damn, that seems
Yeah.
weird.
It almost seems not right when you think about the way the movies go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, Death Proof is very, how would I say, dialogue heavy and not a lot of action.
Right.
When there is action, all right.
Then there's
right?
then there's no dialogue. It's weird. Like,
Right. Whereas Planet Terror is like, I feel like that would be the movie to get you hyped after Death Proof. Because
Right.
if I watched it Planet Terror then Death Proof, which I did, I feel like I'd be let down at the end.
Right. It's just they're two different style.
Right.
They are two different style movies, even though it's still like Grindhouse's production or whatever. But
Correct.
it's still even with Tarantino, like, there's similarities, but they're very like is that Planet Terror to me is like more of a shoot 'em up. That's more of a boys movie.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
shoot 'em up, weird monsters. It's great because
Testicles.
they're getting ripped in half, and it
Yeah.
looks so fake, but it's just cool.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? Like
Blood bags are just
yeah.
popping everywhere.
yeah, it's a great. I think that's a great like. Hey guys, we should watch. We're gonna Planet Terror.
Right.
But then like Death Proof, I probably could like convince a girl to watch.
Yeah.
like Death
When
Proof
his testicles are just like
falling off.
rotting off of his body, and he's like,
Like,
"That's
fuck it.
okay. I'm still gonna."
Fuck it, I'll be quick.
What are you
Right.
gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, like-
Well, I think when
Sir.
Fuck it. You need your mask. Nah, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, I'm just
With
gonna-
what? With what are you gonna?
I'm just gonna
No.
stick it in there. The other thing that was a little weird that I felt like maybe was left on the cutting room floor is during that scene he pukes out two things and they like scatter on the ground almost.
Mhm.
Then nothing came of that. It was almost like it
reminded
was.
me of Slither.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like it was something that maybe was another thing to attack somebody and grab somebody, but
Right.
it was just that was it.
Yep.
Little odd.
Yep.
All right, the plot. We got 3 plots here. You ready? Oh, okay. The plot of Grindhouse. Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez's homage. I had to change to the smaller thing because this just stopped working for some reason, so it's hard for me to read. To exploitation double features in the 60s and 70s with 2 back-to-back cult films that include previews of coming attractions between them. The plot of Planet Terror. After an experimental bioweapon is released, turning thousands into zombie-like creatures, it's up to a ragtag group of survivors to stop the infected and those behind its release. Death Proof. 2 separate sets of voluptuous women are stalked at different times by a scarred stuntman who uses his death-proof cars to execute his murderous plans. Well, I don't think he would have fixed that car up that perfect. And also, if you look at it, the first car has a skull and crossbones or whatever on the hood. The second one doesn't. So I think they are 2 different cars.
It could be.
It's got the same thing on the front of it.
He probably saved that.
The duck.
The hood,
That
the hood ornament.
ornament's nice. It's a nice hood.
It's a big one.
Like a duck.
Mm-hmm. Very much.
Is it a duck? I don't know. Maybe we'll see. No, probably not.
What's her
She's a
name?
duck. She was also in.
Couple things.
She was a cheerleader
Yeah.
in the movie with Tommy Lee Jones.
See, they showed the skull and crossbones there.
Where he had to, like-
Yeah. Man of the house.
Man of the House.
Yeah.
Where they like witnessed a murder, so he had to like stay in the house with them and watch them.
Yeah.
She was one of the cheerleaders, ironically.
Because cheerleader in the next one. Sure.
Everyone I meet goes in this book, and you're going in it.
If somebody said that to me after like a weird, like, hey, give me a lap dance.
Yeah, but I gotta file you under chicken shit.
Right. I'd be like,
That was a great line.
fuck you, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, it's Kurt Russell, so I'd be like, all right, yeah, you're right.
Stuntman Mike is eating nachos.
My brother,
Hey,
Stuntman
who is this guy? Oh, that's Stuntman Mike.
Stuntman Mike.
What does he do? He's a
Stuntman.
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 I don't know why. I laughed hysterically when I heard that line again.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I had to pause the movie.
And I like how he gets aggressive over his name. Like they called him like stuntman something. He was like Mike.
Mike.
Like he gets aggressive, like motherfucker.
How do you get into that line of work? Oh, like anything else. My brother.
Yeah.
Stuntman Bob.
What's his name? Stuntman Bob.
Okay, there's something to be said about Tarantino movies with dialogue, right? There's a lot of good dialogue in a lot of good Quentin Tarantino movies, but those movies end up having a padded runtime because of it.
Right.
Like, look at Inglourious Basterds. There's the scene where they're all at the end, whatever play or whatever it is, and, Brad Pitt's there, Gorlami or whatever he says. Yeah. That whole scene is incredible. But do you need it? And is it too long? Yeah. Dominic DeCoco. Sorry.
That's a good movie.
That guy's in this movie, if you noticed. He's the guy in he wants to go make out with the girl when it's raining. Okay. That's Dominic DeCoco.
Nice.
Yeah.
I lent Inglourious I had the DVD of Inglourious Basterds. I lent it out to like my XXX ago.
Sure.
Never got it back.
That doesn't sound good, but sure.
Nope. Same thing with my Retaliation Dane Cook DVD and like one other Dane Cook DVD. Well, different. That wasn't even an ex. That was just like a guy friend in college. Never saw it again.
Well, Dane Cook, college. Yeah, it makes sense. Everybody's like, I got to watch all that, and everybody has one.
You know who you are. You have them.
You know why. Where to watch?
I think about it all the time.
Yeah. Every week, I'm like, where the fucking DVD go?
Yeah, I didn't let it go, obviously.
Yeah. You know this guy's social security number?
No.
No.
We can find it out.
Just the first 5. I don't know.
Does he live around here?
One of them does.
We're going to go get that DVD back.
The one that has Inglourious Basterds, I'm pretty sure.
All right, we're going to go get that. And he's got it. And he still watches it. He's like, you know where I got this? For free.
I would. It's good. Although I don't really watch DVDs anymore, so.
Yeah, but physical media is making a comeback because everybody's taking shit.
Sure.
Right. Where to watch? Speaking of where to, media, what?
None.
You all right?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
Like you had like a
come to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Are we watching?
Where to watch? You have a subscription to YouTube Primetime, which is the TV. Didn't know that was what it was.
Another subscription.
Sure. Everywhere else you got to pay for it. Amazon, Google Play, Apple TV, Fubo TV, Sling, and Vudu.
Fubo?
Fubo. I said Fubo, didn't I?
Fubo.
You did. Fubo.
I'm trying to read so fast. Sorry. Written and directed by. So Planet Terror was written by Robert Rodriguez and directed by Robert Rodriguez. Does anybody know anything else he's done?
You're going to tell us. Just going to wait.
Bless us with the knowledge, Steve.
Drop it on us.
Spy Kids.
Sure. That seems right. They're about the same. Yeah, it's so close.
He's done a lot of other family-friendly
really,
movies.
like, similar demographic, like.
Sure. All these people have kids,
That kid dies.
Which kid?
Her kid in Planet Terror.
Yeah.
Who thought it would be smart to put a turtle, a tarantula, and a scorpion in the same fucking container?
I
don't think that does
it. It's okay, they can live together. No, but he's dumb still.
Well, you see how dumb he is?
I think the movie has the biggest amount of balls for doing that scene, though.
I love how it's immediate. That's terrible, but it just goes to show.
Well, they also kind of tease it when she starts getting out of. When she gets out of the car, it shows
the 3 kidless people on this show. We don't support it.
I support it when they're showing it in movies like this.
The movie did it well.
Yeah, the movie did it well.
Because you're like, all right, there's no way they're gonna do this. Like, she literally says, make sure you don't shoot yourself. Like, here, if somebody
quite literally says it, and then
in 10 seconds later, the kid just pop. And
her face is just ooh.
And they show it too.
Oh yeah.
He would have had to have just looked down the barrel and shot himself.
Absolutely.
You know what? Yeah. Kids.
I mean, look.
Kids do the darndest things. Man.
I never got my hand on a firearm as a child. I'm lucky I didn't, because that probably would have happened.
Yeah.
But my dad, told me, he's like, don't touch the exhaust of the lawnmower. I was like, okay. Touch, burn my 3rd-degree burn on my palm. Oh, that's why you don't do that.
Right.
It is, obviously, it's a movie, so
yeah.
It's funny to talk about because it's a movie. Obviously, not a funny thing.
Not funny real life.
Not really in real life.
But funny in the movie.
Sad real life.
But balls to but what you're saying, like the balls to put it.
Right,
Yeah.
to
in the
actually
movie.
do it and then show it. Like, they don't show him shooting himself, but they show the aftermath of it. And then she's carrying the kid around for like
That's
another
what's
20
crazy.
minutes.
Yeah.
Which that
But she's
actually...
she's like traumatized. She's like in shock. She's
Oh,
just,
yeah.
and she's talking to him.
Mhm.
I told you not to look at it. And I told you not to point it at yourself.
I never got the whole point of her story. Like, I know why the husband's mad at her because she's going behind his back with Fergie, which is, I guess they're having
Random as
a...
fuck.
What was that?
It's random as fuck. The Fergie's just in this movie.
Look, whatever. That's fine if she wants to branch out and make a career in acting.
She
Obviously, it
didn't.
worked out,
She didn't.
right? They ate the back of her head off.
And the brain.
Yeah.
out.
Scoop the brains.
Quite literally.
Well, what I'm saying though is like, what was her goal? Because she goes to her dad's house at the end, who happens to be the sheriff.
Steve,
You don't know.
Well, he was.
Okay.
I mean,
What do you want
obviously
me to say?
they maybe previously had an affair, is what I think.
Okay.
So they had an affair, and she's talking about us like leaving. Like,
Yeah.
have someone coming at 10. I think she was either taking the boy or leaving the boy. That was undetermined. But
no.
No,
It's very clear.
Fergie was coming to their
You're
house.
wrong.
this is going today.
No, Fergie was supposed to
Fergie
come,
was supposed to pick the kid up while
Yeah.
she was at the hospital.
and
right,
she was
but
probably
then they were
gonna-
going to escape all
Like,
of them
Yes,
together.
the
You're
three
right.
of them.
Yeah. Okay. So I
She
might as
wasn't
well.
leaving the boy. Where
well,
did you
excuse the
get
fuck
that
out of
from?
me. I don't know. Who knows if you want to have.
And then she
That's-
shows back up, and those girls are going. You said your friend was going to pick him up,
Right. Those
Yeah, yeah.
and they
very
never did.
quick to beat the shit out of a
Aggressive.
car.
There's a child in that car,
Yeah, right. With
and they
the-
just start
the rake
beating the
and
car.
The shovel.
Because why? They had to stay there an
Well,
extra hour?
but also,
Well, she also did not pay them.
That's what I
She
was
just
gonna
kicked
say.
them out of the
I
house.
get paid.
Okay.
And
But
also
they-
two. I got to pay for two of you.
Yeah, right. And then
You,
later,
I only needed one.
Right.
later, sorry.
Did I book
sorry,
both
sorry.
of you? Or did
Yeah.
you just like?
Whatever. They did say sorry about your kid later.
I don't give a shit.
Right.
Almost the end of the world.
They're in
Yeah.
the second one too.
And did she give a shit at that point? No.
Second
I think
one.
she was over.
Yeah, they were in the they were in Death Proof for like this long.
Are they in the bar or are they in the... They come
show
in...
them show up at the bar and walk into the bar. They got little skirts on. They're like
Yeah.
dancing their way into the bar, and that's the only time they really show them.
I wonder how
makes
far
sense.
apart these towns are.
Probably in the same valley.
Although Rose McGowan's in both of them too, and she's a whole different character in both of them.
You can do that.
That's fine. These
But then
interconnected
the
but not
doctor was
connected.
the same. Doctor
Correct.
in both of them.
And the sheriff too, isn't it?
Yep.
And Stuntman Mike.
Yep.
Tara's really happy about this.
She
this
is.
Experience.
I'm really upset. Not upset.
No, you're not.
No, we're not.
It's such a good. They're
I
so
know.
good.
Death Proof is written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. These are both rated R for strong, graphic, bloody violence and gore, pervasive language, some sexuality, nudity, and drug use. Although the only nudity I remember
Jay.
is in the nudity I remember is in the Machete trailer,
Yeah.
correct?
The mom and the daughter.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
Which is no.
But that's the whole
gross.
point.
That's gross.
Those-
Come on.
Yeah, but the trailers are supposed to be super ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which then they turned into real movies.
Where's my wife and daughter?
Machete. I will say the trailer
in the water somewhere.
Yeah.
It was like
the trailer is better than the Machete movie.
the actual movie that came out.
Yes, and then they made a sequel, Machete Kills. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah.
Machete doesn't stop killing.
Right.
Did they make all of those?
So I was gonna go through
Really?
later
Oh,
of
okay.
the list, but we can
Oh,
go.
well,
We can do it now. So
I wouldn't want to rush.
Let's
you.
just
I don't want
cut through this quick and get to the end.
yeah, 'cause Tara's
Because
like,
obviously
I'm
Machete.
done.
Obviously Thanksgiving.
So Machete.
Mhm.
So this is the order in which they appear. So
trailers.
Machete, Werewolf Woman of the SS,
Right.
Don't, Thanksgiving, and Hobo with a Shotgun. So Werewolf Woman of the SS, that trailer was directed by Rob Zombie, and Nicolas Cage is in it.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Don't
So
was
is Mrs. Zombie.
correct. She's in everything he does.
Yeah, I know.
We don't need to get into that. Don't was directed by Edgar Wright, who's done Scott Pilgrim and amongst a lot of other good movies. Shaun of the Dead. Thanksgiving was Eli Roth, which eventually becomes a movie directed by Eli Roth. Hobo with a Shotgun was only shown on the Canadian release of this.
Yeah, because I don't know what that is.
That was a movie that then came out and
No, but I'm saying
Yeah.
I didn't see that I didn't see
Right.
that
It
trailer.
was only on the Canadian release because it was from a Nova Scotia director
God, you
or
guys
whatever.
just get everything, don't
I
you?
know, right? Fucking right there, bud. We got Hobo with a Shotgun.
Healthcare, universal healthcare, Hobo with a shotgun.
Just the trailer, though. You guys got the whole movie.
I didn't.
Well, the movie came out here. Oh, okay. I get what you Whatever.
Don't need it though. I don't think.
Starring Planeterra. We'll roll through this. Rose McGowan as Cherry Darling. Freddie Rodriguez as El Rey. If you remember who directed this, Robert Rodriguez. So that's his brother, I'm assuming. Or I'm just being. What?
Stuntman Bob.
Yep.
It's a brother thing.
Josh Brolin as Dr. William Block. Marley Shelton as Dr. Dakota Block. Jeff Fahey as JT Hogg, or Haig, I guess it is. Michael Benn as Sheriff Haig. Bruce Willis as Lieutenant Muldoon. Fergie as Tammy. And Tom Savini as Deputy Tolo. Tom Savini is one of the most famous creature effects persons around, starting in the 70s, 80s, doing all the Dawn of the Dead movies and stuff like
So
that.
did he do this too?
Yes, he did this. So he's the guy who gets his finger
He did Dust to Dawn too.
bit off, and he's in Dust to Dawn as well. He does a lot of Quentin Tarantino
Yeah,
and
got his
stuff
finger
like that.
bit off.
But Tom Savini is just great. Everything
He
he's been
bit
in.
my finger.
Yeah.
He's
I
like,
like. Yeah, he tries to put it on. I guess I'm putting it on the middle finger now. Death Proof is starring Kurt Russell as Stuntman Mike, Zoe Bell as herself, Rosario Dawson as Abernathy Ross. Weird name.
Great name.
Vanessa Fertilio.
You can call me
Sorry,
Abby.
Verlutillo. No, I can't say that. Read that for me.
For Lido.
Verlido
Lido or Lido.
is Arlene, or Butterfly. Sydney Poche is Jungle. Julia Lukai. I didn't know she had a last name.
Me
So
either.
as I was
said
staring at it.
when she introduced herself to him.
Oh,
she
you're
said
right,
it.
you're right.
Mike.
Tracy Thomas is Kim. Jordan Ladd is Shannon. Rose McGowan is Pam. Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Lee. Quentin Tarantino as Warren. Marcy Harriel as Marcy. And Eli Roth as Dove. A lot of big people in these movies, though.
Yes,
Let's be
I
real.
like them. I do like them like that.
Big movies with
Big
a lot of
movies.
people, like,
A lot of cast.
a lot of stuff. Runtime on these movies: Planeterra 105 minutes, Death Proof 113 minutes. For a double feature, yeah, definitely long.
Yeah.
They could have trimmed some fat out of Death Proof.
Yeah, they definitely could have.
Yeah.
There's too much.
But
I know.
Bill-
I know you're trying to build up the girls.
But it builds a theatrical. That's why I like it. So this is why I like this movie too.
Sure.
is the first time I ever saw Mad Max, like the old Mel Gibson joint, was in a bar,
Oh,
and I just loved how I knew it was going on, but there was no lines.
we'll talk about it.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There was no lines, and
Yeah.
you could still know exactly what was going on in the movie. He only
Oh.
had he didn't even say he only had 8 lines that whole movie.
Right, but
So
it
like
didn't matter,
watching it in the bar, I was like, oh my god, I'm fascinated with this. That's why I like the downtime
Okay.
where they are just you're hearing the cars actually drive in somewhat accurately, not just never ending shifts like Fast and Furious.
right.
They're just
Yeah,
driving
yeah.
like it is. I did like the way, and then in the car camera and stuff like that. I thought it was shot. It reminds me of an old good driving movie. You know what I mean? Like something like Steve
Yeah.
McQueen and the Green Hornet. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
but it's not. It's
Bullet.
It's Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. I think these movies were made because both either Quentin and Robert Rodriguez were like, "Hey, we need to showcase stunt people,"
Right.
and it felt like that because Zoe Bell is a stunt woman,
Right.
and
Yeah,
she's
that's
doing
her
all
job.
of her stunts, and she's actually one of the best actors in the movie, I think. And then if you look at Planeterra, same thing. There's a lot of big action sequences, big effects, and stuff like that. I feel like they were like, "Yo, let's put some shine on these
Right.
people." Because that's what felt like to me.
I think Zoe was in an episode of Entourage too.
Might have been. She's been in a lot,
Like, as
actually.
a-
She's
as
been
a-
in her own movies and stuff like that, which aren't big because they're like stunt women,
Yeah.
kind of whatever movies. But Death Proof was released on not Death Proof. Grindhouse was released on April 6th,
But technically,
2007.
You're right.
Technically, I'm right, but it's together. Sorry. Getting all discombobulated over here. Released April 6th, 2007. Definitely old nowadays.
am I right in remembering? I don't remember what interview this was from. That Tarantino said that this was like the worst movie he's made. Death
No,
Proof.
he didn't say it was the worst movie. It was, I think, one of the worst received movies.
Oh, I thought he said it was like bottom of his list.
No, he says he likes it. I actually read a couple things today. Basically, him saying like, I really respect this movie and stuff again towards the stunt people and everything like that, and it's a different type of movie. But he is mad at the reception it got. We'll get into that.
Definitely
Box
a different
office.
movie. Definitely a different movie.
Right. Box office. Top 10 that week. Number 10, Firehouse Dog. I remember watching and hearing stuff about it and then never saw it, did anything with it.
I don't.
Cool. Number 9, TMNT. That was been the CGI Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that came out. Was actually really good.
That's one you told me to watch, I think. And I still haven't
Yeah.
watched it.
It's really good. It's more of a. It's not even like a Turtles movie. It's more of like a movie about some other stuff. I don't want to get into it for spoilers' sakes, but it's at heart. It's a very good
That's the
story
Megan
movie.
Fox.
No.
Megan Fox?
This is before that. This is all CGI. Okay. Number 8.
I've only ever watched the
The original.
ones,
The
so-
original ones or just the original?
The original ones.
So all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite? Hate them
First
all.
one.
The first one. Okay.
First one.
That's okay.
Well, the opening scene of the,
third,
first one's the best.
third one's
Damn. Sorry. What?
the third one's kind of
Shitty.
weird.
Right.
Like
That's the one that go to Japan.
and
time
he's
travel.
like, and
They got to weigh
he's-
the same, but yeah, how
kinda
the way the fucking
try-
yeah, so-
Leo's trying to like hone his,
Yeah.
leadership.
The first one's great. Just the opening scene.
Yeah. There's only one good scene for me in the third movie, and that's when she's like trying to convince them that she trapped this dude in the cassette player, and he just chops it up. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Number 8, Shooter.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Shooter. Yeah, it was okay. Mark Wahlberg, right? Say hi to your mother for me. Number 7, Wild Hogs.
Oh,
Oh man.
what a great,
My
terrible
dad loves
movie.
that movie. I
Yeah,
know.
it is
It's
a
one of
white
those-
dad.
It's a dad movie. That's a dad.
Hey,
movie.
that's us, buddy, on our on the
You know-
hogs.
You know what? I really like that movie. There was a
Dude,
time where like that RV and like all those movies were coming out. I was like, they're terrible, but I like them.
Yeah, they're great. When we used to ride bikes back in the day, that's all we said. We'd be like, wild hogs, man. That's all we used to
When
say.
he like before they even kick off with like the guys getting together and talking about going, when John Travolta goes outside and he's arguing with the kid raking his leaves.
Yes, hilarious.
His name's Toby or something, the kid or whatever.
Toby.
And he just like drops the rake and he's like, I'm not doing this anymore. he's like, he's arguing with this kid about it.
That's funny.
You've got too many leaves. He's like,
Number 6,
oh, I forgot about that movie.
300.
That's a good one too, man.
That's a
bangers.
man movie.
Some bangers.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that movie.
Really?
Yep.
Let me tell you, you'll love it.
You like abs? Like Gerard Butler's abs?
Yes.
And you
I've
would
seen
love
Gerard
that.
Butler,
You
yeah.
would love that movie.
Just a lot of gore.
Not as much as
I don't
Planet
mind
Terror.
gore.
What? I thought there's hours of death.
Planet Terror, there was a lot of gore. 300, there was gore for sure,
Yeah,
but
just
not like
fighting.
not like
Yeah.
craziness.
Well, there's a difference also between like blood gore and whatever the fuck was oozing off of their bodies and rotting away. Like that's
Ball gore.
there are different levels of gore. 'Cause,
You're right.
like,
You're right. There's gross
Ew.
out gore,
Yeah.
and then there's bodily.
well, yeah, blood.
dismemberment gore,
There's,
yeah.
like, there's gonna be blood.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure that I
There's gonna be blood.
consider that I consider bloody movies gory anymore.
Yeah. That
To be
makes
honest,
sense.
because I feel like
Yeah, like the Saw movies or movies that are like that. Those made gore different.
yeah,
Yeah.
like when you start adding like
You're exposed
like-
so young
like-
to so much.
war like war movies and stuff to me that are like The Patriot used to be considered a very gory movie. Like the blood that just flies throughout that
That's
movie.
definitely not gory,
All's
but yeah, I
blood.
get you.
Now it's like no, that's normal.
Man,
That's just
when I hear
that's
the-
just war, man.
When I hear
Like,
the Patriot, just God make me accurate and fast. It's like God,
I just always remember one of the parts
God, I'm a
where they're
man.
like,
Keith Ledger, right?
yeah,
He's his
Heath
son,
Ledger
yeah.
and Mel Gibson, but
I
they're.
was gonna say no, Mel
I
Gibson.
just remember one of the times where they're
Not Mel.
like in their, formation, and a cannonball just comes through and it just completely takes off the guy's leg, just like,
Yeah.
and of the leg, just blood everywhere, and the leg just comes, and there's horses
The-
getting
yeah.
stabbed and shot, and
Yeah, I don't like anything with like an animal getting blown up.
Can't
Like I
do it,
watched the
yeah.
new Napoleon movie.
Was it okay?
It was all right.
That's what I thought.
The
yeah.
the battles and that stuff, outstanding. The storyline, but it's kind of weird because you're like, oh man, if he was really like this, he's basically just like an autistic adult.
Bet.
Like for real. Like he's just an autistic adult. He comes out of exile. He's like, oh, you guys need me again. And because he knows the country's losing. He comes out of his own exile.
Yeah,
for real. And then comes back, turns the war around. And then he actually loses one battle. And they exile him again. But he turned the war around, but then loses one battle. They're like, okay, you're done here again. And he gets sent away to an island with him, his wife, his children, and like servants to make sure they're alive. It's crazy.
Was this all like real?
Yeah, like this is based on Napoleon Bonaparte. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it's actually shot well.
And that's where, I mean, he's where like the Napoleon syndrome comes from.
Correct.
Where it's you know, smaller guy, big, have to overcompensate. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was just on the spectrum.
And when you look at it, the way he depicted it, and of course it's Joaquin Phoenix, so it's like so good. Like he's just like, damn it, this guy can morph into anything. Like for real.
Him
like,
in Gladiator gives me like the peak creeps.
Yeah.
Like he's
Perfect.
so
slimy.
Ick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he's very
and with his sister.
So you would you'd find that in this movie then too. There's faces that he makes where it's like, okay, like he's in there, you know, like it's weird. But just for the battles alone, well shot.
Speaking of Gladiator, I want to say one thing. That has one of the most like deaths. Obviously, spoilers. You're talking about Joaquin Phoenix's character. The way they do it with no music, no nothing, and you fucking feel it going
into it. The
into
fact that he even thought that, like, amazing. Even after stabbing, like, you thought you had a chance for real.
I know, right?
You watched all this happen. You really thought. You, with no battle experience, you were going to go in there.
Well, that's the whole point.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's a fucking warrior.
And he was what, like a blip on the radar of the Caesars because he was barely even one for like a week. What's crazy is the sequel that they're making for Gladiator. Russell Crowe comes back to life.
What?
That's all you need to know about that.
I don't think you can do that.
No.
What kind of voodoo?
I'm not going to get into how or why, or it might have to do with time fucking travel. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. In Gladiator, the most like realistic Rome. No, they didn't.
They didn't need to. Where would they travel to?
They had the best society going.
Like, you know.
Yeah. Number 5.
How often do you think of the Roman Empire?
Enough.
Number 5. The Reaping. I had to make sure I said that right.
Appreciate that.
I don't know that one.
Me neither. I
Is
didn't.
that,
Julianne Moore. I don't know.
No, why do I feel like it's Kevin Bacon or something?
Because it's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, so chances are you're probably correct. Reaping. Don't make sure there's an E in that.
I know what I'm doing.
I don't. Some days.
I'm glad I don't have to read that.
Hilary Swank.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. She's reaping the benefits of $1 Million Baby still. Oh no.
I don't know where I got that from. Idris Elba.
I mean, amazing. Good for her, but yeah. Do
Idris
something
Elba
else. Coyote Ugly too. I don't know. Did they make it too?
They made some type of sequel.
Coyote Pretty? I thought that was
funny. Doesn't make any sense because Coyote Ugly has a meaning.
Okay.
What would Coyote Pretty mean?
The opposite.
There is no opposite.
Oh, well then.
Coyote Ugly.
That's why they didn't make a sequel.
The meaning behind Coyote Ugly.
Oh, jeez, I started something.
If you didn't know, is like a coyote trapped in a trap.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you get so drunk, you go home with someone, and the next morning they're so ugly you'd rather chew your arm off than risk waking them up.
Well, they say that in the movie. Isn't that a line in the movie?
Yeah, that's what Coyote Ugly means. Yeah, that's what she says it means.
Yeah.
So then Coyote Pretty would be like, well, hey, look, jackpot when you wake up.
But then what's the coyote part?
Doesn't matter.
The whole part of the coyote is that a coyote will chew its leg to get out of a trap.
So I would do it, but I don't have to this time because look at you.
Okay.
Number 4.
Doesn't make any sense.
GrindHouse.
I'm just happy to be here.
Number 4.
Honestly, good for it for being in the top 10.
Yeah.
That ain't
I didn't
bad.
expect it.
Yeah, that ain't bad. That ain't bad. Now 2-for-1 deal though, so that is 2 movies.
Well, so was it a double feature all the time?
Yep. Now only in
We think only one of them got them into the top 10.
Well, we'll get to that in the fun facts because there's some funny stuff about this. But only in North America was it released as a double feature. Everywhere else, it was 2 separate movies. Because, as Quentin Tarantino said, they didn't have the type of grindhouse stuff back in the 60s and 70s in different countries, so they wouldn't even understand what they were trying to do. I don't think North America even understood. But, you know, top 3 that week, no particular order. Then we're going to guess. Meet the Robinsons.
What's a banger?
Are we?
Were we not just quoting that?
You were. He didn't pick up on it.
I got a big head.
No, I went like this.
Oh, you did? Okay. I thought you were doing like, I don't know what's
We did
happening.
before
No,
we
no.
even started recording.
Yeah.
We
I take it
quoted
back.
that. That's weird.
Are we done yet? Blades of Glory.
Those are really random.
That is a very
Which
random.
ones are we done yet? Which one's that?
That's
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
College.
Yeah. Because what was the first one? Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Are we done yet?
I didn't even know they made a second one.
Me either.
That might be the
That was a
third one.
random pool.
Isn't there a show? They made a fucking show about it.
You did?
Yeah. Ice Cube wasn't in it.
Oh.
I think it was the guy from the third Friday movie, or the
Ice
second
Cube?
when they replaced Chris Tucker. Mike Epps, I think his name is.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
Look at that. Look at that poll.
I thought
Don't
he
know
was
where
in the other ones too.
He was in the second and the third.
Oh, I thought he was in the.
He wasn't in the first. Chris Tucker was Ice Cube's
I'm
sidekick.
saying I
kind of
thought they
thing.
were both. I thought he played something. Never mind. I thought he played someone else.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Hey,
It is what it is.
Hey, yeah.
So anyways, yeah, top 3. What do we think?
What week are they in?
So are we done yet? Meet the Robinsons are in their first week. Blades of Glory, second.
Man, how good is that movie?
Dude, I love it. Jimmy McElroy. The part where they have the
Jimmy Hitches.
the part where they puts the 2 hot dogs in the fucking.
Does that look right to you?
Does that look right to you? Oh god damn it!
You coming here to poach my skaters, Jimmy?
Chaz Michaels is figure skating.
Is figure
Boom.
skating.
Another great. Welcome to the Hall of the Grimlets.
Oh my god, you're gonna make me watch that today.
It's so good, dude. I
It's
love
really
that
good.
movie so much. Are you going?
When he's laughing and then throws up.
Yeah.
Holy shit, they're
Boo.
I'm gonna say Meet the Robinsons, number 1,
Okay.
and then Blades of Glory, and then what was the other one?
Are we done yet?
Sure.
Definitely Blades.
She's like, are we done yet here?
Blades Robinson. Are we done?
It is Blades of Glory. Meet the Robinsons. Are we done? Look at
Nice.
you. What a guy over here, just coming
I was
in.
trying to give Meet the
Not
Robinsons
being here
because
for a
it was-
while, and
It
then-
was.
And I was was Blades of Glory a hit then?
Oh, it Will Ferrell. Yeah,
It had to be a hit. It had to be a hit. 'Cause it's so good now.
the only man
It's
to
timeless.
win
You can watch it anytime.
an adult film award. And what the fuck was it? The Iceman cometh.
Yeah.
What do you say about something with those diaper bags that he was getting made by somebody, Missy Elliott or something? No, okay, I'll stop talking. Budget time. What do we think it cost? Both movies together.
I have no idea. There was a lot of practical effects. There was
Yes.
a lot of goo. A lot of
A
goo.
lot
used
of
in this
goo.
movie.
Dripping off.
When he purposely pops and then
Oh, yeah.
onto his face.
That looked like some gushers to me.
It did.
And I was kind of like, man, I haven't had gushers.
And
in a
the
while.
lack of reaction, just the,
Yeah.
I'd have been like,
I immediately-
blah, and vomit right back in your face.
When it wiped it off immediately, and he's just like,
I have such
on me.
it's funny, I have such a real life problem when people don't wear gloves in situations like that.
Mm.
They'll go to pop a pimple, and I'm like, can you put on gloves?
Right.
Can you put on gloves?
Put on gloves.
Can you,
Like,
hey,
and then also, have you ever heard of a face shield? Because you're right here.
Oh, I know.
And you're going like this. What do you think's going to happen? Like, what do you think?
he
is gonna-
grabs that motherfucker too and just
Oh, the tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
that was.
the tongue.
No, he's opening your mouth. He's like,
I will say the way Josh Brolin played that part was so like he just didn't give a fuck about anything.
well, he was very, you could tell he was like super interested,
Yeah.
but he's super distracted by, he knows something's off with himself.
Yeah.
He kept taking his blood pressure. He kept taking his temperature. And that's what bothered me either. That's not sanitary. He's like, I'm sanitary.
Yeah,
It's like he's
yeah.
touching things and touching that.
I thought also something else would have happened with that thermometer because he was just like, if you're chewing on
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
glass, it's gonna break.
Well, it does eventually.
It did. Right
Well, yeah,
after he
but
said it.
I'm saying like I
Right after
thought
he said it.
that would have like
He
he
was like,
just broke
"See?"
it and then that
Yeah.
was it. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, he swallowed it or something, but nope, just that. And then
Yeah. So that you didn't like that. Like, that's too much.
That's just, it's gross.
It's gross. Yeah.
It's
So I have a
gross.
problem with textures, but since I know it's weird, like since I know
Did
I
you
like
see
this
how
movie,
bumpy
it's
his
okay.
tongue was?
Yeah.
I mean it was
Like-
obviously an appliance on his tongue. That's what they call it.
That wasn't his real tongue.
No.
No way.
Or if he was acting, do you think he was acting and he made his tongue look like that? Yeah.
Keep holding it.
I can wrinkle my tongue.
The part I really like.
I can give my tongue rolls.
Oh my
watch.
god. The part I really like is how he's explaining the bite to him and he's saying how old it is.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, mate, what's today?"
Yeah.
And then they look at his tongue. I don't know. I kind of like that because that showed that
Like
he was actually smart too.
Yeah, like the slow, rapid change.
Right.
Like it was kind of. He was like, wait.
I like how they really thought if they took the arm off, he'd be fine. I mean, it's his tongue
Well,
is fucked.
They didn't. They waited too long.
We
And what
gotta
did he-
take that arm
What
off.
did he say? Bit him?
It was in his arm.
No, but what did he say? Bit him?
He didn't.
Yeah,
He's just like, I got bit by something.
Got it.
and now I'm oozing.
Help me.
Help me not ooze anymore.
Look, the part
can't
where
eat
he comes
because
back.
my tongue.
The part where the guy's like, "Hey, you want to help me cut your friend's arm off?" And he stares and he's like, "No, you do it."
Yeah.
And then he comes back and it's set up perfectly where he's cutting that dude up. I don't know. I like shit like that.
Yeah.
Funny, but okay. Budget. What do we think? Both movies together. $6,000.
I'm gonna go 80 million.
Okay, 80 million. Also, who just stabs their wife in the hands?
A lot of times.
A lot of
So
times.
you know what my biggest problem with needles?
Pop, 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 pop.
The gauge of those needles
Oh, they're
was a real
huge.
issue for me.
Yeah.
Because those were like,
Those are big needles.
yeah, they were like 16, 14 gauge needles. And then the one he just like hits her in the hand like 4 times. I was like, oh, I can feel it all.
Also, she would have been way more fucked up when she slipped with her hand in that. Oh, that was the worst
It's
thing for me.
broken. It's broken.
Broken. That wrist was
I
fucked.
can deal with all the bubbly shit. I can deal with the dude's balls.
Practical
slipping
I
injury.
just
off.
love, and it took a while for her hands to like,
The whole
one
movie.
kid- yeah. Oh,
The
Come
whole
back.
movie.
but like, because at one point she's leaning on her, like her hands holding it up, and I was,
Yeah.
that was the first time I realized they had come back. Like I
Yeah.
kept, I was like, oh, I guess her hand's feeling better because she's literally like,
She literally does like a thing like this
He's
after
like,
she throws those.
holding it,
Yeah.
holding her entire body up with it. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I thought you did well
But
acting.
she
with
just
it.
like, yeah.
I really
holding
think that. I really
everything.
they numbed him.
Yeah.
Like she did because it really everything she did was.
Good.
Yeah.
That's acting. Good for her.
They probably really
yeah.
stabbed me.
That's showbiz, baby.
Say, what do you think, budget?
I said 80.
Oh, yeah, you
Oh,
said
yeah, I
80.
didn't.
Oh, you didn't. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're still always
Yeah, 60.
60. Actual budget. Oh, sorry. I guessed 80 as well.
Okay.
Look at us. Actual budget, $67 million.
Oh, look at you.
And she's just throwing that out
The
for
one,
two
the one who
movies.
cares the least.
I know, right? All right, box
Doesn't
office
mean
then.
I don't know the most.
I mean, sorry.
Now I'm fired up.
What do we think it made?
Fur.
What do we think it made in the box office then overall?
I'm bad at this one.
It was just in North America.
No, it was everywhere.
No,
Together.
which is the only way we can look at it, right?
No, we can put everything together if we want. Or I do have
That's why I'm asking, because what am I guessing here? Am I guessing
Together.
what the double feature was?
double feature in North America.
Okay.
Would it look funny with this? Kind of.
Elray.
I'm gonna say
Block.
107.
$107 million.
Man, that's a lot. I was gonna lowball. I was gonna go like 90.
90. I guessed 65.
That's even
You went low.
Opening
I
weekend.
actually almost said 80 because I thought like because you guys said 80 for the.
Yeah, opening weekend it made $11.5 million.
True.
Overall, it made 25.4.
Oof.
That's real bad.
Its first weekend, it made almost half of his
Half
whole
of what it
box
did total.
office.
I didn't know if it was gonna turn around after once word gets out, but apparently
The opposite happened. People
there's a
went,
lot of terrors out
go.
there.
Mm. A lot of terror.
Planet
A lot
Terra.
of terrors.
Planet Terra just out there being, don't go fucking see this.
So this is that, but again, I feel like they made all their money on the back end. This is definitely
Yeah, cult classic
classic.
TV or
Yeah.
DVD sales. I mean, Quentin Tarantino, like, people are going to be like, yeah,
yeah,
I'll buy it.
it's crazy. Great poster. That's what I mean. They put so much into these movies, in my opinion.
Is he done yet?
No, he's got one more. Once Upon a Time.
Think he's gonna be done? Think he's really gonna do that?
Mhm.
You think?
That's why he's spacing it out.
What do you think?
I mean, I really enjoyed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
How many Kiss final tours have there been?
This is what I'm saying.
How many times?
That's what I'm saying.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, well,
How many times has Motley Crue said we're done?
Good to
Motley
gabagool.
Lou?
Motley Lou. I'm on my way. Anyways, what's gonna happen
You
is
mean Lugal it?
yeah.
He
That's
also,
Here are your Lugal maps.
That's another
he also
timeless.
was
Yeah.
buddy with you know.
Weinstein.
Harvey.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get to that.
Did I take advantage of my knowledge of the future? Maybe.
Do I give a shit? Or fuck, I can't remember. Have you seen the
hate
second?
y'all.
Have you seen the second Hot Tub Time Machine?
It's not as good as it's
There's
more
parts.
over the top.
There's parts that are funny.
Yeah, it's more over the top, but the first one is so
Epic.
good.
I wish
it's
you had
so
been here
good.
for that.
It suffers for not
saw what?
having.
Were you here
He,
when we
no,
did
he
that one?
wasn't.
So
Unfortunately,
good.
Yeah.
I was banking on him being here. And then
Was that when you were out of town?
No, you got your head hit.
Oh yeah, my head. Oh, that was last week.
No. Hot Tub Time
That was
Machine was
last
our 150th episode, which was the week
The
of
week,
Christmas.
week before that.
Oh, I was out of town. Then.
That's right. Oh, that's right. My bad.
Out of town or sick. December was a doozy.
Doozy. Tomatometer time, the Rotten Tomatoes score, the Roddy T's. What it was in, critics and audience gave it out of 100%. We're going Tara first because
Okay.
you're no, don't give me that because this is fun.
It is. Okay.
He was
I have
wearing
to think
gloves in that
about-
scene.
I have
He
to
knew
think
what he
about
was doing.
audience, not Tara.
Mhm.
Just
Well,
doesn't
and
make
critically,
sense.
too.
It just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
Use the skill 67.
What doesn't make sense? Her having a gun put on her leg and
her
it
being able
fires
to
by
shoot
itself?
it. Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
It doesn't.
Don't-
It's just the nerves.
Right.
It goes straight through the steel, and she can do it.
So she's doing like Kegels and it's shooting.
If that's what you think, yeah,
or,
sure.
or flexing her quad or hamstring.
Or thinking it.
Bull.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
How is she shooting that gun?
With her mind.
Was it ever explained? Does anyone ever
It's a
explain it?
movie.
I'm aware. I watched it.
Did you see
Because
the
of
Gatling
you.
gun at the end? Because you'd never
Yes.
seen this before, for real?
No, I had.
Oh. I was like, oh, really?
I really, you're like,
Yeah, where all those bullets come from for the Gatling gun? Where do all the reloads come from for the fucking grenade launcher?
Also, that horse wasn't spooked at all.
Yeah, just, oh, that's
The horse was ready. It knew.
Here's-
let,
She
let
goes
off 50
again.
rounds real quick.
Here she goes again with her leg gun. And then she has to ride that horse. That horse the whole time is probably like,
How about the baby?
don't
How
accidentally.
about the baby in the
Right.
bag just holding on for 50 shells?
Please
if he
don't
just
accidentally
rip-
flex your leg muscle while you're riding me.
Yeah,
And shoot me
yeah.
in
What
the
if you have
side.
nightmares? Like fucking.
We take the
She
gun
would
off
must
at night.
attach it.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
Yeah,
You
that's
take
when
it
you
off.
put
She'd
the
have to
wood
do-
peg on.
Right.
You're
And I love how he puts
Peg.
the wood peg on too. Where
No.
she's just like, I don't have
That
a
didn't
leg.
hurt at all? You're telling me that didn't hurt at all?
Well, just
He
wait.
just shoves that into her newly removed leg.
Her femur's on the other side, just like this. And there's a piece of wood, and it goes, "Mow!" And then she's like, ah.
Yeah, so that metal peg or whatever just went right into that wood.
I like when she's
Just
like,
fine.
I like when she's like, I broke my leg.
Well, I like how she's like, I don't have a leg, and he just jams it in. You do now.
You do now. No, I still don't.
Still
Still
down a
don't. You're
leg.
right.
Cool,
Thanks
I'm
for that.
half chair.
You're right. It's a fucking table leg or whatever the fuck it is.
I do like
Not
when
my own.
Quentin Tarantino's there, like saying, I've seen every different type of stripper ever, but never a one-legged stripper.
Yeah.
Just he's railing them off. It's fucking hilarious. There's
I've seen a
great-
stripper
I would have
with
been
one
like, so
titty.
then you haven't seen.
Right. Get
every type
ready.
of stripper then.
Get ready.
Well, she's not a stripper.
She's
a
not. She's a go-go dancer. And she isn't anymore.
She quit.
How am I going to be a stand-up comedian when I can't stand up?
See? It's hilarious.
She looked great in the first one. The second one completely washed her out with that blonde wig. So terrible.
I think that was the
Oh, Death Proof was the
point.
second one.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, she looked better in
right Planet Terror.
Planet Terror.
in
Well,
the double feature. Yeah,
Well, I
definitely
feel like
the
she's
second
not supposed to take away from
She's
all
not.
the other girls. She's just there
one. I'm
too.
just saying she looked
The
She
boy-
looks better as a
great
brunette.
in
yes.
the
Boy,
but
howdy.
even the way they did her makeup and everything, like the darker lip and
Yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah.
She gets fucked up in Death Proof. Like, fucked up.
Everybody does.
No,
Everybody
true.
indeed.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Even,
That-
well, except for the second group.
Am I
of
supposed to be
girls.
guessing something? Did we?
I want to say one thing about Death
Yeah.
Proof. We don't see whatever happens with the cheerleader and fucking
Yeah,
Adam
see-
Sandler guy.
Well, even them showing, imagine just showing up to the house like, hey, we're not going to buy it.
Look at
And
it.
the car is destroyed.
Right. You just make a joke, Bobby.
At
Louisiana
that point,
frog
he's
cakes.
keeping your car. Like it's something else you do. You know what I
well,
mean?
they're just
Right,
lucky
oh,
to be
yeah.
Or you
alive.
have to pay whatever he was going to be
Yeah.
Right. So
charging for it.
you're guessing the Rotten Tomato score.
The curtain was moving. And I was
Listen,
like,
Dog.
God.
Dog.
We're simple creatures.
Men are simple creatures. You're
I have to believe they like these movies.
we have certain tastes. You're right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it might be people getting their heads blown off and balls just off of people and
And
putting them in
chicks with
bags and stuff.
Guns on there.
And chicks with guns on their legs, Gatling guns
No
for
explanation
no
of how she
reason.
can shoot it.
It doesn't matter. It's awesome.
I'm gonna say 60s for both.
Are you just
No.
throwing? No.
No. 64 critics.
No.
60
1, 2.
62 critics. 68. 7.
Just throw a number out.
67.
67.
Audience.
All right. Josh.
I'm going low, like 44 critics.
See, I really want
Probably
to do
like-
that.
Probably like 54 audience.
I'd like to see if there were women critics that rated this movie and
Probably-
compare them to the
probably.
male critics.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
I
Like,
just
I'd like
wanna
to see it too.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
So
what the if there's a
Yeah.
difference in how it was perceived.
so I guessed 65-55.
Okay.
Now this is for just GrindHouse as a whole, the
This is the
Rotten
double-
Tomato score, and then
okay,
I will
okay.
give you the individual scores.
That's what I would like to know. That I'm curious.
So the tomatometer on the critics for GrindHouse as a whole,
This is the double.
double feature.
Sorry. Every time you say like this is the double, everything it's just funny. I'm sorry.
This is the double. The double. We're doing
The
double.
double. You're talking about the whole
double.
grind
The
house,
whole grind-
the whole grind home. Is that what we're talking? This isn't a
Yes.
grind house. This is a grind home.
We do things here. Critics gave it an 84. Audience 87
Wow, for the double.
for the double. Planet Terror on its own, critics 77, audience 77.
Wow, I really didn't think it would be.
Death Proof, critics 67, audience 71.
Wow, I think that's a pretty ranked, like high all the way around.
Look at Tara's face.
Are you okay?
No.
Do you need to go to Grind Home?
How did the double feature get so much higher than both of them individually?
Trailers, and I think the whole idea of it, because it is a homage, a
reminiscence.
throwback. It's it's a different style of thing. Think about it. No one's doing this. No one's done it since. I wonder why. But you know what I mean? Like
Especially
it's
the cost for one ticket.
oh yeah.
Or do you pay for it?
No, it was one ticket to
See?
get two. That was the whole idea of it, because that's what they used to do back in the 60s and 70s. Come see two movies for the price of one.
You were in there for
3 hours.
3 hours.
Or just
over 3
Oppenheimer.
hours.
Yeah,
Or-
or one regular
I
movie.
would rather
Right.
watch.
Oppenheimer. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I wish I called that.
Oh, dude,
In the
it's
movie
back in
theaters.
IMAX.
Is it?
Yeah, so you could go.
Have you watched it?
He
Though?
did,
I
You
did.
did. But did you watch it in 2 sittings?
No. Well,
Watched all at once?
no, I
He
watched
had
it in
to.
7
He
sittings.
had to. He was watching
The-
it off my Plex.
the
It was an
Plex-
issue.
The Plex wasn't keeping up.
Wasn't working.
It's fixed now.
was
Everything's
good.
everything's.
But it was
working
so
now.
good.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. The cinematography, the way it was
Oh, yeah.
done,
It was
the
great.
story.
But I'm glad that I watched it in theaters, and I'm glad that I watched it in one.
I would like to see it in
Thing.
one fresh sitting.
Because I also, I mean, when we talked about it on the podcast, one of the things we talked about is how when you watch it in the one sitting, it almost feels like 2 movies.
Mm.
Like, because the first half focuses heavily on like
The creation.
the
and-
actual, and then
yeah.
the second half focused heavily on the aftermath and the
trial.
trial and stuff. And it felt like the vibe was even just different.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't. It was spoilers if anyone hasn't seen it. But when you find out what like him and Albert really said to each other,
Amazing.
yeah, it's like holy shit.
But
I had-
all,
Because he said he never talked to him again.
Yeah.
That one guy.
One
he
of the
never
other
talked to him
things we
again.
talked about too is the music through,
Mhm.
especially the first half of it. It's constantly going.
That was a Christopher
that
Nolan movie,
that
right?
very like
Yeah.
that very speedy like
yep.
like is in the background like the whole
it's
first
almost
part of
it's
the
almost
movie.
anxiety driven.
Yeah, because it makes you feel that's the kind of music they put in movies where you think it's building up to something,
Mm.
Obviously.
but it does it for like an hour, Like I kept the whole beginning. I was like, "Is this still the intro of the movie?"
Right.
Because of the sounds that I was hearing, and I was like, "Nope, this is just what."
Yeah.
After about a half hour, it's like, "Nope, this is just what we're doing.
This is the movie.
This is just in it. We're in it."
But then you're right. It changes, and when it changes,
The vibe changes. Yeah.
the music changes completely as well, and it makes it more somber in the background and more almost like not heartbreaking, but like you're kind of feeling.
Yeah. I'd watch it again.
Planet Terror, and so we're gonna do Grindhouse as a whole.
The last one was yum. I watched it again.
So for these questions, we're gonna do Grindhouse as a whole, so you can pick from either movie. So your favorite character, favorite scene, what the fuck moments.
I gotta do both. I gotta break
Yeah,
it down.
it's fine. You do you. I'm just trying to get through this and get you out of here. So, favorite character then, Josh. What do you got?
Oh, well, it's got to be Kurt Russell from Death Proof. He's just
Russell.
he is the goat.
Yeah,
I do like in Death Proof though. My favorite thing is the Aussie. What's her name? I can't think of her
Zoe
name.
Bell.
Yeah, Zoe Bell. Like
She's great.
the whole thing, and then for her to like the very when she just pops up, it's like, I'm okay.
Love that.
And
That's
then
hilarious.
the best is like you just went through this, and then you're riding on the outside of the car still.
Right.
Like she's like, let's go get this
No
motherfucker.
fear. She's like, whatever. I
Grabs that
survived
pipe.
that.
She grabs that pipe and just jumps in the car and
Yeah.
just lets go. And then when she gets out, she fucking beams him in the face
dude,
a couple times.
Well, it also shows like you forget that like yes he's kind of like a psychotic, but he's like that was fun, and then
Right,
he gets
yeah.
shot. He's like fuck.
Yeah.
And then when he's got to do the whiskey,
Oh
he's
my God,
like, he's
one
like,
of the best
"Go, guys."
parts.
He's like, do it.
And he does it, he's like, ah!
But that is such
And
a
when they finally catch up with him at the end and they're
Yeah.
pulling him out, and he's like, careful, my arm's broken.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
careful.
sorry, sir.
Yeah.
We just chased you down. You think we give a shit if your arm is broken?
Well, I think that shows the whole idea of the character is he's just playing a role in a movie in
Right.
his head, right? So he's
That was
doing all
fun.
this stuff, right? And I feel like that's kind of genius, right?
Yeah.
Because he's a murderer, a serial killer. If
She
you
whipped
really,
that gun out so fast, I can't even
Oh,
believe
yeah.
she hit
Yeah.
him.
There's
Like,
only
I know
one,
it was just his arm, but I cannot, but like, one shot just whipped it out and was able to get him in the
Well,
arm.
where was that? Also, when they were like right next to each other.
yeah.
Like,
she could have just
she pulled it out.
She was driving.
also with the girl on the front of the car. They could have stopped at any time.
Correct.
That's the only real.
Would she have flown off?
It was,
No,
but
if you
okay,
just
They were
slow-
going pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple points where I think they could have definitely pulled over. Like when he
Yeah.
spins out,
Yeah.
pull over, get in the
Or,
fucking car.
Exactly.
honestly, roll off. Like, at one of the points, like you said, when they're spun out or whatever,
Right.
she could have just run off and gotten
Right,
behind
right.
a tree or like,
Right.
and they could have kept going. Like,
right.
I wouldn't have just kept holding on the whole fucking time.
That was my only
I'd be like,
problem.
"You guys got this.
She
I'm
was on
gonna-"
that hood a little too long.
Yeah.
That's it.
But when they decide to go get him, like, and then when she starts hitting him, she's like, "Oh, you like that motherfucker?"
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that is the best. Like that is like the best. I thought that was like top tier because it's like just so raw. Like, oh, we're getting this guy. You know what I mean?
I also like how they're like, "Fuck it, let's just kill this guy."
yeah,
Like they didn't even think about
not
it.
even.
Like, yo, we're gonna beat this guy, beat him
Yeah.
up for no reason too, and obviously on his end for no reason. He's just picking people to kill. So, and also them being like in the movie business and they have a lot to lose, kind of.
Right.
Fuck it.
No, at that point, they're like, fuck this guy.
Well,
Like,
yeah, obviously at that point, but I'm just saying in the beginning when they're first
Oh, yeah.
getting hit, like they could have stopped or even whatever they're trying to do originally, which obviously get a nice little rush going. Still stupid,
I
but
like that she wouldn't give up her belt.
right, it's
Her
Louis Vuitton
That's my
priorities.
or
cute
Prada.
shit.
Prada.
Priorities.
Yeah. It was Prada or Louis Vuitton. I can't remember.
I thought she said, I don't know.
I think she said Prada. Prada belt.
I think she said Prada because it
Maybe.
didn't sound long enough to be Louis Vuitton.
No, you're right.
Unless she just said Louis.
My Louis favorite character in any movie for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Zoe, actually, in Death Proof. Like, I love when she jumped out of the bush and she
That
was
was
just
fun.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
And they're just like, "Oh, you," and like right away, like the
of course you are. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And then she just comes up to the window and looks completely like her. She
Well,
looks
she's
all
like-
like bright and bushy tailed. Like,
That's
what's
what she was
wrong
like,
with you
yeah,
guys?
The best part, she was like, "What was that guy's problem?"
Right.
Like, so normal. Like that just happens
The fuck?
often.
Yeah.
This
After almost
fucking guy.
dying.
Yeah, no,
20
really,
straight minutes.
really liked her,
You
and
guys want to go fuck this guy up? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
but also, I do have to give it to Kurt Russell, at least in the second half of that movie. I didn't really like him as much in the first half because it was just kind of weird dynamics all around in the first half.
Yeah.
Until he was in the car.
Right.
Like when he was in the bar, it was just very weird vibe, weird dynamic. But in the second half, I felt like you saw more in him. Like
that's what I mean. You got to see more of the character.
You saw more of him, yeah.
Right.
And I love when they pull him out at the end and they're just taking turns beating the shit out of him.
Beat the shit out of him.
And then just it like the little bit of credits and then goes back and her boot just right into his face.
That head went smoosh.
Yeah. Full smoosh.
Yeah, my favorite, I would say Kurt Russell as well, just because it's Kurt Russell. I mean, Snake Plissken is
Do
my
any
man.
of us have favorites in the first one?
So I'm going to say, because you took Kurt Russell from me, I'm going to say the barbecue guy.
He took Kurt
Man, I was going to say JT.
Yeah.
I was going to say JT. That's funny.
That dude just always trying to find the best recipe and then finding it out.
And then his brother always wanting to know the recipe.
That was hilarious. You keep putting my rent up or whatever,
As long as you take it to deathbed.
Yeah.
Or
He's
grave or whatever.
he started at 250. He's like, I knew it. Like right away, he's like, I knew it.
The fact when he says, when he started at 250, he's like, I don't know. I don't remember. I just know where the dial is. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then he was like, fresh tomatoes? Canned.
He's like,
What? Really? This is where I come back to like Quentin Tarantino style movies have great dialogue like that, where you don't find in other movies. It's almost like it's wasted, the dialogue in other movies.
He didn't direct
right?
that one, but he...
No, he clearly, I think they were doing this together.
Yeah.
Well, what's cool is it wasn't even clear that he was his landlord. It just slowly came out. Like, they're talking shit to each other.
Right,
and
right.
Like, and he really wants the recipe, and so he's being a dick about. But it's like, why don't you just work with your brother?
Right.
There had to be something that happened, like maybe mom or dad died.
Yeah.
And, he went this business. He's like, I'm a goddamn cop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but it is such a good dynamic that he's like, oh, that's it. And he's like, there's blood. And he goes, ah.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
That's all it needed.
Yeah,
Some salt.
Some salt. It's so funny.
That's what the blood did.
Poor dog.
Oh, man. Right. And there's little things like that that's not needed.
But they do it anyway.
Does it anyway. Just be like, here you go.
I feel like it was, shit, what are we going to do with this dog?
Yeah.
All right, just chuck him on the
And how
wheels.
the only part I really did not enjoy of Planet Terror was that whole scene of driving away from JT's.
It was a little weird.
The little motorbike.
That was
thing.
hilarious.
Like, out
I
of
laughed.
all things in the world,
He's just wheeling the fuck out of it.
There's
too.
like zombies, and you're on this thing.
Yeah, just get there's
And they're
there's
on a
room.
chopper.
There's room on that car in the
Yeah,
car with
dude,
those
like,
two twins.
That was the most.
Now I'm gonna rip this 50cc whatever mini
That
bike.
was the only part I didn't. I was like, okay. I was like,
Weren't those like the rage at that point too?
oh yeah,
So that's why
I have
did
one.
It. Yeah.
still.
Okay. There you go.
It's 20 years old.
Can you wheelie on it?
No, not my big ass. I've wrecked it more than anything. It's a blast.
Favorite part or scene? Anybody can take this.
For Death Proof, I think we kind of briefly touched on it. This whole second. Well, my favorite scene
Probably the last quarter.
Okay.
the
of Death
movie.
Proof, yeah. But I tell you what, the accident scene where it's the end of the first part where they leave the bar, and he just starts off right away. He was like, "Well, if you were going," he's like, "Up." He's like, things are going to start getting weird because she wanted to go right and he wanted to go left.
Yeah.
So immediately right then and there, you're like, oh, this is where his psycho is going to start coming out.
Just
And
he's
the
like,
way he
oh,
plays
yeah.
it is kind of amazing. When
Yeah.
you think of it. He's like,
He's
well,
like,
see, you had a
now you're
50-50
gonna
chance.
be afraid
Yeah.
right away.
And she's like, and then you watch her go through the stages of grief.
Yeah.
Like you watch her yell, then you watch her bargain, then you watch her beg, and then she's dead.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like, and then man, he fucks her up too.
Yeah,
which
because
is
he's like, it's death proof, but
Yeah,
really,
on
just
this
when you're
side.
in my
Yeah.
seat.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, why would you ever get in that? I know why she does get
yeah,
in
be
that
like,
car, but
you know what? Maybe thanks, Mike.
yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Like that, and then the whole leading up to the accident, how they show like how each girl dies.
That was
Like
so
turning
awesome,
on the
though.
headlights every time. Like it's like, and the song was just,
Yep,
her leg,
oh yeah, whoop,
that would
yeah.
happen too.
Oh, absolutely.
and then the tire,
yeah,
Amazing.
the tire on the
the
face.
girl's face in the back
Amazing.
seat.
Yeah, I mean they would have been.
Just spinning rubber on that face.
Yeah, I mean in real, there'd have been nothing left of any of them. Like especially because his car was literally designed to do that.
Right. Oh yeah.
And like, I was really surprised he didn't walk away.
Well, he got fucked up too.
Yeah,
which I
collarbone,
like
like-
that because
Yeah.
it makes it more realistic. It's not death.
when the doctor, she is like, he's got a butt, and they names all this stuff, and they're literally like, these girls are in pieces. on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
road.
yeah.
Like in comparison,
Right.
not so bad.
But
like-
also like it. So you're driving around a stunt car and you
Right.
accidentally
Ran into
head
these
first.
people. Mhm.
But also there's all this
and they're in pieces.
right, and there's all these drugs in their system, but nothing in yours, and but you're in the
It
same
almost
place.
was like it was their fault, but it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, it's a crazy.
Hard to pin on him.
Yeah, because he was like, I can charge him, but if it goes to trial, it's like, no, I gave her a ride home. We were going this way.
Right. And also, that shows that she got fucked up in the accident.
Oh
too.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because she was just still.
Depending upon how long that took from point to point.
Yeah.
They can kind of say, all right, this bruise happened before this or whatever, when you died kind of thing. But still.
Because usually they only narrow it down to like a 2-hour time frame. And that was definitely still within.
Oh, yeah.
He caught up to them pretty quickly.
Yeah. We kind of just touched on everything. My favorite parts is the stuntman Mike. Like, who's that? Yeah, stuntman Mike. What's his name? Right. Stuntman Mike. What's he do?
Then he lists off, and he's like, you know any of the shows I'm talking about? And he's like,
no.
That reminded me of like Once Upon a Time.
Okay.
Where Brad Pitt's listing off he's like listing off the movies that he's done, and he's like, do you know anything that I'm talking about? And they're like, no. Like,
damn it.
Yeah.
All right. Any what the fuck moments for you guys? Obviously, there's one.
His
balls just
dripping off of his body.
I would say another ball thing, the whole ball bag situation. Like that meant absolutely nothing to the story other than him landing in the balls.
Yeah, it's like I love how like is like
yeah. Funny.
When Bruce Willis took off his mask, and it was pretty instant when he turned into that.
Right.
mask.
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder if that was a whole budget thing too.
Instant.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of
because the other guys, they would take the and it would start, and then they put the mask back on, and it would go away. But he like imploded.
I want to say
just like
it's back to the Grindhouse thing where they didn't have the budget to show anything, so there would be a there he is, he's a monster now.
Right. Like also, it's like why do we need to show him build and we can just kind of flash it?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what he is now. That's what it is.
Yep. Speaking of whatever, I don't remember where the button is. The fun facts of the fucking week.
It's the eagle for me.
If you noticed, in the actual first crash in Death Proof, there is a Wilhelm scream in there, which is hilarious. Yeah. All right, I'm going to try to rail through these as quick as I can here. During filming, Josh Brolin asked Robert Rodriguez for a video camera so he could shoot his audition tape for No Country for Old Men. He ended up having his audition shot with the $1 million digital camera they were using for the picture, directed by Quentin Tarantino, and Marley Shelton reading the part of his wife in the scene. The tape was then scored and edited by Rodriguez before being sent to Joel Cohen and Ethan Cohen. Their first response on viewing the tape was to ask who lit the set.
Yeah, that feels like an advantage.
Honestly. Oh yeah, right.
Then
but also your
Josh
Brolin too.
Was edited and shot professionally.
Well, too bad.
While people are usually sitting in their casting tapes from their fucking like bedrooms.
Them's the breaks, like it is what it is. Nicolas Cage agreed to play Fu Manchu in the Werewolf Woman of the SS trailer for free as a favor for friend Rob Zombie. Literally, what would that take him? 2 hours of his life?
Right.
Yeah, with makeup and stuff.
Right.
Probably.
After the sexual assault accusations against Harvey Weinstein went public in 2017, Robert Rodriguez revealed that Rose McGowan had confided to him that Weinstein had assaulted her as well. She had signed a non-disclosure agreement about it and subsequently been blacklisted from any films the Weinsteins produced. Rodriguez said he cast Rodriguez said he cast McGowan to get even with him, knowing that his brother Bob Weinstein, who ran Dimension Films, knew nothing of it, and that Harvey could not object without having to admit to his past. Rodriguez told Variety that he thinks Weinstein buried the film due to the director's decision to cast Rose McGowan in Planet Terror. Everything to do with that. Pretty fucked up.
Makes sense.
Also, how many other women did Weinstein do this to that he didn't come out? Right, yeah, probably. I mean, you look at Kurt Cobain's wife. What was her name?
Can't remember.
Sure. She would come out and say stuff about Weinstein all the time, and everybody's like, oh, you're fucking crazy.
Sheryl Crow.
Sure. No, it's not Sheryl Crow.
No.
No one else knows. It's not Sheryl Crow.
Kurt Cobain's wife.
Blonde. A mess.
Celebrity skin, whole.
Courtney Cox.
No.
Courtney Love.
There it is.
Courtney Cox. Yeah. No, definitely not.
Oh, I got the Courtney part, and then I was like, wait, what?
Right. The Canadian release of GrindHouse had one extra trailer attached to the opening of the film. The trailer was called Hobo with a Shotgun and was the winner of the South by Southwest GrindHouse Fake Trailer Competition. The short was directed by an indie filmmaker from Nova Scotia, Canada named Jason Esner. It later became an actual movie starring Rutger Hauer. We went through what movies were made. The film is meant to be a homage to double features that played in grindhouses. However, during the initial weeks of release, some people were reporting that many audience members were leaving the cinema after the first feature, apparently not realizing or forgetting that a second feature was going to be shown. One reason cited was that many of the audience members were too young to remember when theaters showed double features. The distributors planned some changes in the campaign, while some people also solved the problem by posting employees by the auditorium doors to remind departing patrons that the program contains another movie.
Get back in there.
Right. We're not done. It's funny. All right. We'll try and do this as fast as we can. Final decisions out of 10. Would you recommend it, skip, or must watch? You can do Planet Terror, you could do Death Proof, or you could do Grindhouse as a whole. However you want to review it. Tara first. Ladies first.
Mm-hmm.
Skip. 5 out of 10.
Okay.
No, you got to say so. Come on.
I was trying to decide if I wanted to rate them separately.
Okay.
Or not.
You can if you want.
But I don't know if I can because they'd probably still end up
trash
with the same. It's not that they're trash. It's just like
it's not you.
It's just not me.
Okay.
And even though there were parts I liked in both of them.
Sure. As a whole Grindhouse.
As a whole, it's not something that I
look to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You can appreciate.
No.
The vision.
I mean,
and the the visual effects, at least, or the effects. There's some good droopage. Yeah.
That was
something.
Well done.
Yes.
I just have I had a lot of questions that didn't get answered.
So you have to let go. I think that's part of this. You just jump into the world.
I don't have to.
You just jump in. Jump in and let free. You
don't
have to control everything.
I don't have to.
You don't have to have an answer.
Yes, I do.
I get it.
Yes, I do.
I get it.
Like, I didn't have questions in the second one. You know what I mean? It was pretty straightforward. He just wanted to fuck these people up.
Yeah.
There wasn't.
So you're
like
saying,
a deeper meaning.
But you're saying you like you like Death Proof better than Planet Terror a lot.
I mean, I do too.
I
like Death Proof. I like Death Proof more than Planet Terror.
I wouldn't say a lot, but I felt like that was more of like something that I. But again, even that almost felt like two different vibes.
Yeah.
Because in the first one, even though he's playing his same role, in the first half of the movie, that part of him where he's like killing them is only in a very little bit of it. The whole other thing is just all dialogues between all the girls and the guys in the bars and all this stuff. And like, you never saw the actor dude that she was texting and stuff. They're just like,
okay, I agree with
the
that.
lake
Yeah, there's
house
a lot of
nice?
stuff
I'll never know.
that
Like,
happened.
where was the lake house? Was it going to be a fun girls' night?
They never
like,
made it. They're dead.
How would we know? Like, who has a lake house? They didn't seem that successful. Whose lake house was it?
There's too many questions.
Not enough answers.
Also, she's a radio DJ that everybody in the area knows. She subtly drops very casually that she's trying to launch an independent record label.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
I'd like to know more about
those things.
That part of her life.
Maybe would have if they weren't dead.
Why did we need...
Yeah.
I have never held my vagina when I've had to pee. I can tell you that right now. I've never done that. In the years of being a woman, I've never...
Well, that's good for you.
Clutched my vagina to stop myself from peeing.
So where were we?
She was trying to review a movie.
And then how did she...
5 out of 10?
Yeah. Yeah.
5 out of 10 for everything. Just
that's
cross
probably
board.
just safe.
Okay.
It's just safe to...
Josh, however you want to do it.
Well, we're going to turn this around.
And we're going to turn it around.
You picked it, so I would hope that...
If you like this style of movie, it's a 10 out of 10 in my opinion.
Okay.
If you like the style of movie. If you don't, if you're the average watcher, it's probably like a 6.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a male, maybe a 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do think...
Is this from the drink or from what he said?
No!
If you like the style of movie, I do not... The only thing I would change is the double feature. It needs to be flipped. Not only for continuity of the hospital...
Just pacing.
Yeah, like it also give me a little of the thrill, and then give me a little of the more of the gore.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Like, because they are both thrillers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is like, you know what I mean. And then I would even consider the second one, if you were to look at Planet Terror, even like a horror Halloween movie, because it's flesh-eating virus that's released into the air and the government's involved.
It's a zombie movie. Yeah.
It's at what this is what men think about. Like that's what I mean. If you're a guy and you're into these cult classic movies, perfect. The cinematography, the way it's shot, the simplicity of it. That's why I mean. There's no questions. That's just what's happening.
Right.
Like that's happening, and the only way to do it is to kill them.
She's shooting gun, of M16 out of her leg.
From her leg.
How is she pulling the trigger? It doesn't fucking matter.
Could she be any hotter? Like,
that's that. You know what? That's what it is. It's she looks fucking cool and hot.
Right. It's Rose McGowan.
And what do men want to see?
Yeah, exactly. And in this time, like, imagine people like me. This is a weird statement, but like you watch Charmed.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And
she was like that. There was a lot of sexual innuendo on that show.
Yes.
And she was a lot of it because she was wicked. They never wore bras. Same thing like watching Friends. They never wore bras. This was out there.
They
would stand in front of freezers before they started their scenes.
Yes.
Like, it was obvious.
They had nipple colders.
Yeah. So like then you can see this as like a treat to see like Rose McGowan.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I mean? So if you're a guy
who likes Rose McGowan,
this is a great movie.
I agree.
So both sets.
So what are you giving the actual score of?
I will rate it low because it's a very specific lane.
Okay.
So let's go like 6.5
for GrindHouse as a whole.
For GrindHouse as a whole.
Okay.
As a whole, yeah.
All right. So I'm in the same. You said what, 6.5?
Yeah, 6.5.
So I'm at 6.5 too for GrindHouse as a whole. So I remember going to see this and being super excited for it, and think that the fake trailers really helped Death Proof to be more memorable to me as the second feature. But as it is now, that would be the big letdown to me. Is Death Proof isn't as in your face and isn't as I don't want to say I was bored with some parts of Death Proof, but I was a little like, come on, let's go here. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of fat that could be trimmed out of Death Proof that would make it a lot better of a movie. But is there really a lot of story there? Not really, right? You're just finding out about these girls and then being like, oh, well, I'm rooting for them, and then like a fucking car crash.
Like, why was she visiting?
Exactly, and why was
Where she hail from?
Right, and why was she like mysterious about
like
where she came
that
from?
whole diner scene, you could have
Butterfly.
saved that 15 minutes and had a car conversation about how she doesn't die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because that was the only reason why that was there. That whole scene was to express that she has a gun.
Mm-hmm.
She gets in these crazy situations where she doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
Then that took 20 minutes. Like, no joke. 20 minutes of hardcore dialogue.
Which we didn't need.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that they could have summed that up elsewhere in the movie and trimmed that, like you said. There's a lot of trimming you could have done.
Yeah.
Especially for it to be a double feature and to leave that in as the second movie. Oof.
Yeah, that switch them. So,
Yeah.
Planet Terror, though, to me, this is my type of movie that I watch movies for. Over the top, stupid cheese with hilarious shit scattered through a decent, if not terrible, story with awesome, gory effects and action. That's like what I want to see.
Right.
I want to see dumb shit blowing up.
Man movie.
And in this one, I got dumb shit blowing up plus gore and stupidness, and it was great. So I give Planet Terror 7 and Death Proof a 5. So giving 6.5 of the board of GrindHouse.
Yeah, that. Sorry I put you through this. I guess I owe you one. I would say 2, but let's just make it one.
It was not that bad. Come on. You hated every single second of it.
This is the least enthusiasm I've ever seen about the movie. For me.
Yeah,
Like,
she's just like, I'm here. Let's do this. Well, how about this? I will save you for my pick next week. How about that? You're going to like this pick. I think virtually everybody will like this pick in our age demographic.
It just really, when you started your rating saying that it was a 10 out of 10, I was going to have
She's like,
a conniption fit. Because, like,
She was like, what?
I thought you were literally saying that was your score. And I was going to be like,
yeah.
please don't. You are going to skew our,
skew the
rating
average.
list so much.
No,
if you
I gave it a
this movie's
realistic.
a fucking 10.
Yeah, and I gave it a realistic
yeah.
rating.
So, next week, we're going to do Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh my God, it's such a good one.
That's like a,
See, did I make things better
That's
for
a
you?
good one.
Okay.
I watch that almost weekly.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna have to be.
Vampire musical.
Die.
I'm gonna have to be here.
My God.
That is a good one.
Whatever you want to do, that's what we're doing. It's gonna be a good one. We're gonna talk about
Doodle paper, doodle paper, bro.
doodle paper. Are those happy tissues or sad tissues?
Or both.
Or both?
There's
I'm gonna need a
I
minute.
hear her too. I think she's on the floor above me. You're on the top floor. I'll try to keep it down.
I'm looking.
Just the
through
Muppets. They're gonna start the music.
Yep.
Oh my God, what a great movie.
But we even just quoted this recently.
I got a surprise for you.
When you can actually hear it. But when he's talking to him and he's like, Sarah is better than Liz.
Yeah.
And he's like,
You want
do you want to do this?
What is it?
Do you really want to do this? And he's like, yes. That's a mother of my He just like snaps and he's like,
I got no pleasure
Sticking you.
I'm deleting all the photos. But you're not permanently deleting them. You're just, well, then if we get back together and I
even
still
doing a
have
proper
them. No!
Amazing. Look, I'm on the moon.
It's a luau.
That's a nice pearl necklace you have there.
What are you saying?
It's a luau.
It's a luau.
You need to get closer. No, now further back. And if you could get closer.
Oh, I see.
I see what he's doing. He's making it look like.
Iron your shirt. Even your T-shirt.
Oh, because they're the Costco brand.
Yes.
That's John. I can't wear.
Yeah,
that.
that's what you need. Another hookup. Go have another meaningless hookup.
The sorrow suckers.
Sorry. That's what they call them. I don't call them that.
Jonah Hill trying to give him that CD will always be the funniest thing I've ever seen. Or
I'll just go fuck myself.
right. He's drinking the wine. Oh, look what I did.
Oh, no.
Maybe I've
Take my
improved
life,
it.
not the shirt.
Take my eyes, but not my shirt. Yeah.
Take my eyes.
I think I may have improved
She's
it.
like, "Are you going to get some of that?" He's like, "I saw it from across the bar."
I have it. All right. Yep, I got it. Thank you.
How's the vegetable medley? It's mundane. He's like, "Oh yes, it is. It is pretty good, isn't it?"
Mundane.
I love. All right, I'll be here.
If you listen to it,
love
well,
it.
see, I was going to, but then I just kept on living my life.
I didn't.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, next week look for that. It's gonna be one long giant
Of that.
quote
Yep.
session of that
Yeah, it
movie,
should
or
be.
maybe we'll just sit here and just watch it. I don't know.
We should just quote it. And we should we should do like a Muppet 3000, like a 3000, and just
When
quote
he's
it.
on the phone, he's like, she's here. Oh God, I see them. I'm gonna say something. Peter, and he puts Peter, don't. Hey guys, no!
Peter, go back to your room. Peter, go back to your room.
How'd you feel about that?
How do you feel?
Right.
How do you feel?
If I know Sarah,
I
just
did not
ruined
like.
her
I
day.
did not like that.
God damn it. Okay.
That is just Nordic. That is just gibberish.
See, now we've made Tara happy.
Yeah.
Oh God.
You're welcome. Next week, it's going to be a fun time. Josh will be here. Wally will be
bombed.
back.
I'm so sorry.
Oh God.
We enjoyed a movie. I know we enjoyed
Oh,
it.
it was great. I love GrindHouse. I'll watch it again. I don't care.
Tara just...
I love seeing gory,
Just
gruesome.
Fuck the livings and bail.
Yeah, stop
You
wearing
sound
a
like you're
watch.
from London.
Kunu, help now. Okay. Okay, Monster Man.
POP. You look like you got some pain behind you.
You know what's good for that? Weed. You got any?
Do the
No.
carpets match the pubes?
Whenever a carpet matches the pubes. So next week, we're going to find out if the carpets do match the pubes. Tune in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for giving us support. I don't know.
I'm
whatever.
already on next. I'm on now.
Oh,
I'm
we're
she's
on next
checked
week.
out.
We're done
I'm
here.
on now.
GrindHouse, it was fun. Thanks again, guys. Bye.
Bye.